of COVID, but I think there's a lot to be said about learning from different countries within your region or outside your region. So let's see what else people have to say. Yeah, scientific journals and conferences are coming up as a lot of people are using that, which is good to see. And we're not seeing any people saying they don't, they just do what they've always done. So that's also promising, but understandable if sometimes things move quickly and it's not always easy to adapt. Does anyone have any reflections or thoughts they wanted to share on this question, or any, really great formats in which they've seen evidence or ways in which it's been more useful than others? Be great to hear from people if they have any insights into useful evidence and things that have been beneficial for them.
Hi, it's me again.
Hi. Yes, please.
Yes, I know that WHO website is usually a very good place to look for evidence and guidance. But of recent also, we have a lot of resources around the NNN website. So those are two places, because at NNN you have a lot of experience that is shared in conferences, different partners, and that's a good place to go. But people will usually go to WHO website. So if there's a connect of both WHO and NNN, particularly on NTD, I think that will be very helpful for us when we are starting up developing programs. Thank you.
Yeah, that's really good to know. And I know the NNN has been working hard to kind of expand their website and be able to host resources, and also have been working with info NTDs to kind of provide that link. So I know a lot of the working groups, the WASH working group, we have a page up on info NTD where we try to link things as well and provide links to the toolkit. But we'll share that back with the executive committee about that link with WHO, and making sure that comes out strongly across all the diseases and different working groups and resources. So that's really helpful feedback.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Any other thoughts on, I see Sarah already has a question. Oh yeah, please.
Yes, hello. Yeah, I'm Lucia. I'm working at IDDO, but I'm originally from East Timor. I had experience working with the programmatic for the NTDs, and back home we mostly interact with WHO. And even though we find in the website about guidelines and so on, we still need to get a kind of direct guidance from WHO officials. So mostly the Minister of Health, they will interact with WHO. Maybe in some country they not really have that kind of interaction, but from my country, we mostly like WHO is where resource, like anything that Minister of Health is going to take any decisions, they will very much consult with WHO. So yeah, that's the experience.
Thank you for sharing. Yeah, the WHO is really the go-to resource, and it's great that everyone is finding the website accessible, and ministries are working closely with them, of course. So
yeah,
thank you for sharing that. We have about 2 minutes left before I'm going to hand over. So I see a few people are following the chat. Angelia has shared a trachoma online course that's available, and it has a WASH section. So please take a look at that. And I see Sarah has a question around, she's curious to understand how people access learnings from other countries. I don't know if anyone, we've had some inputs from Mighty-Saf and then just from you, Lucia. I don't know if anyone else wanted to add how they're accessing any learnings from other countries. Are they, is it a personal relationship you have with someone? Are you looking for case studies on specific countries? What is that?
We have a raised hand from Luciano.
Okay, please go ahead. I don't know why I can't see the raised hands. Apologies. Luciano, if you please can come off mute, we can. Unfortunately, you're still on mute, Luciano. I don't know if you can hear us, but if you can come
Okay.
off. Oh, great. Thank you. No
Sorry.
problem.
Hi, everyone. I am Luciano. I am from Madagascar. I am from an association called RISEAL, working mostly on schistosomiasis. It is among the NTDs related to the WASH. I agree with my predecessors for WHO, but don't forget, in my I think that don't forget we should also take into account the gray knowledge. I mean, at the local level. So for these statistics, I think that in my perception, national level, all things done at national levels also is very important to take into account. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Luciano. And absolutely, I think we can all agree, you know, it's led by the national level with support from WHO and other bodies, but we, you know, everything that happens in the country and are led at the national level. So that's a good point to bring us back to. And with that, I think I'm gonna close out this part of the session. I really appreciate your feedback. It makes it really helpful and engaging. So thank you again to all that participated. I'm now gonna hand over to Sarah D. Dotson to give us an update on the WASH and NTDs research agenda that's under development. So over to you, Sarah D.
Awesome, thanks Leah, and great to hear all of that, those comments and ideas coming through. We just wanted to spend a couple of minutes introducing you to another piece of work that the NNN WASH working group are undertaking, and hopefully get some input from you on this. So as we've been discussing, you know, if we're going to reach the targets that are set out in the roadmap for NTDs for 2021 to 2030, we really do need to up our game in terms of innovation and learning. We don't have any time to waste. There's critical work that needs to happen to fill some evidence gaps and really speed up the efforts that we're all engaged in. But as we know, there's very limited resources available for research. So we do need to, perhaps as a community, come together a bit more effectively and collaborate and engage in some collective action around some critical research priorities, some critical evidence gaps. And in order to do that, we need to understand what those critical gaps are, what the priorities are for investment. So the NNN WASH working group, along with WHO, have partnered to develop an integrated NTD and WASH research and innovation agenda. And we're hoping that we can engage you today in helping us progress that. So next slide, please. So just to give you a quick snapshot, I don't want to spend a lot of time talking because I do want to give you some time to input, but just to give you a bit of a snapshot into the process that we're following, and we're very happy to provide a bit more information about this should you be interested after the session. But basically we have 4 steps that we're undertaking. The first step involves collecting ideas around what the critical research questions are, what the evidence gaps are. We're then also going to undertake a rapid lit review so we can understand what's already been studied and what the gaps are that are coming through the literature. And then we're going to undertake a process of consolidating and analysing those research questions and scoring and prioritising the key themes that are emerging. And then we'll hopefully toward the end of the year, early next year, publish this research agenda. Now, we have a key opportunity with all of these fabulous people on the call today to really kickstart this process. So we're really hoping that you can help us to start to generate some of these key research questions. So Helen is going to pop a link in the chat box to a SurveyMonkey survey. And we're just going to give you 10 minutes to have a bit of a look through that survey. You'll see that there's quite a long kind of preamble with the usual kind of research consent form. So have a good and careful read of that. And if you are happy to take part, you'll be asked to put forward 1 or 2 or 3 ideas that you have about what the key research priorities are. So if you want to just follow that link, we'll give you a few minutes and really encourage you to forward that link to others that you think might have some critical ideas to contribute as well. And there'll be future opportunities. You'll hear about this work in the coming months through other channels as well. But this is your first opportunity to engage, and we're really keen to get your inputs. So we'll just go quiet for a little while we give you a bit of an opportunity to have a look. Okay, you probably haven't documented all your brilliant ideas for research priorities, but I'm keen just to hear perhaps a couple of thoughts that people had, a couple of ideas that people have begun to enter into the survey. Does anybody want to share what they think are the critical research gaps? And there's been a question in the chat box around when the due date is. It will be open for a few weeks, so certainly this session today is not your only opportunity. Feel free to take your time after the session if you want to give it a little more thought.
Already, Teresa has her hand raised.
Teresa, go ahead.
It's on.
Yep.
Hello, yeah, Teresa Baird from CBM Global. I'm just curious if the evidence for proximity and ease of access, obviously our organisation is always looking at disability inclusive access, but ease of access generally for children and all different age groups, elderly people. When that proximity and ease of access, what the impact is on the uptake of those WASH interventions through the behaviour change route, and then taking it the next step. Let me just read what I've just put, and what's its impact then on the health benefits of that intervention. So sort of taking it the 3 steps, because I'm sure in the WASH sector, the whole proximity side of WASH is very evident. A 30-minute minimum journey. If you're more than 30 minutes, it's considered a burden. I think all that has been done. It's just that proximity, ease of access, how that affects behaviour change, which I'm also pretty sure has been done. But then, it's that full uptake that then gives us the health benefits.
Yeah, so the whole cycle. How do you lose people along that chain?
Exactly. Yeah. How are they learning things in school where maybe the intervention was put in place and the latrines are there and the hand washing station is right next to the latrine and the teacher is watching you carefully, so you do it, and all the behavior change elements to that. But then when hand washing means for your whole family of 10 people, means that extra burden of traveling so much further, or it's very difficult to climb over something or to access it because your mobility is not good, then it's lost, isn't it? And has that really, do we have evidence to prove it? It seems so obvious, but do we have evidence?
Yeah, right. Excellent. Thanks for that. I look forward to seeing that come through on the survey. Awesome. Does anybody else want to share their thoughts about what the most critical gaps are in research? Pan, go ahead.
Yeah, this is Franca. Yes.
Sorry. Okay, this is Pam speaking now.
Hi, Pam.
Hi. There was this quite interesting piece of research shared also by the Hygiene Hub on research that was done in relation to nudging and to motivate people through those nudges to continue washing hands after use of lavatory by using eyes and those kind of signals. And I was wondering how to apply that in other situations and how, because that was very much in public spaces, if you have a common facility or you have a common tap. But I think it is a really nice idea, and what can be done to do this at a much wider scale, so that we constantly trigger people to do what we want them to do and what they themselves probably also want to do.
Yeah, how can we use the power of nudges? It's a great, yep, fabulous. And Francesca, I think you wanted to say something.
Yes, thank you. I just wanted to ask a question that, do we really know the knowledge gap on NTD and WASH? Because it seems like there is a need for us to document the knowledge of our communities of the relationship between WASH and NTDs, because that will help us to measure impact when we implement interventions, in future. So one of the research areas I would really like to recommend is for us to document what the knowledge gap is as a baseline as we move forward on this. Thank you.
Wonderful, thank you. Great suggestions coming through. Really appreciate all those inputs and looking forward to seeing some of your thoughts come through on the survey and your future engagement on this piece of work. Thanks. We're going to move on now to a group session. So Yael, if you wouldn't mind, next slide. So we're going to break out now into 4 groups, and you will each be supported by an able moderator. And we'll be kind of covering 2 questions across those 4 groups. The first 2 groups are going to have a discussion around how the NNN community of practice can assist programmers to access and use available evidence in ways that might strengthen WASH programs. And the 3rd and 4th group are going to have a discussion around how the NNN community practice can assist programmers to generate evidence through their programs and share this evidence and their experiences with others. So I'm going to ask our fabulous MYT team if they wouldn't mind magically transporting us into those breakout rooms, and looking forward to having a bit of a discussion with you for the next 20 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you. Opening the rooms now, and you might find it takes a little bit of time for you to move into the rooms, but you should move through. I think, James, you're the only one left with me at the moment, which is...
I know, no, it's funny, I've not got my breakout room tab on the bottom of this today. It's interesting. So I couldn't have gone anywhere anyway. It's interesting. Let me just share my screen anyway.
Thank you to those who've just joined us. We've just broken into breakout rooms. Anthony, I will assign you to a breakout room. You're going into breakout room 4. If there's anyone left in the breakout in the main room that hasn't gone into a breakout room, if you'd like to unmute yourself, we can help you move. Or if you see on the bottom of your toolbars, there is a tab for breakout rooms, and you should, if you click that, you should be able to use the join button to join your assigned breakout group.
No.
Ah,
Now it's just
our own. Great.
Well done, that's the first time. The last time's always the best, apparently.
Oh, well, hopefully.
Yeah,
It's really interesting, isn't it, how it just takes a bit of time just for everyone to get into the swing of it.
Absolutely, yeah. It's a great system. It really is. It's very clever.
Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah. I'm not, I was just sitting here going, I'm really looking forward to the end of the event, and then you have a beer and you chill out, and then you get ready to come home, and it's all like, but it's kind of almost like you've just been in work today. It's not the job anymore, is it? It's a bit odd.
No, I know.
And, and I love all the, when you're all fussing around, a lot of you lot, it's great when you're on site and you help there and you straight away, and here it's only because it's new, it just feels a bit more awkward, I think.
But also, when you're away, you're working, you know, you're busy, you've got no other distraction, you can really focus. Whereas when you're at home and you've got people going, "Mummy, can you?"
Yeah, yeah, go away.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, I was going to start typing it before, but my girlfriend Yael, she went. I was talking about this COVID stuff on that text. She went to a baby shower on Saturday, which was organised by her head of English at her school she teaches at. Two of the girls who work behind the bar were.
Oh, hello, Sabine. You've just joined us. I think I'll assign you to a breakout room. We're just in breakout rooms at the moment. I'm going to put you into breakout room 2.
To be convened.
Oh, Pajel, are you having problems? Do you know which have you come out of a breakout room? Would you like me to put you back in?
Oh, very nice.
I don't know if you're with us. You're in the middle of
traffic jam. I think they're in the background and they've obviously got a bad signal.
Yeah, I don't think he's really with us, actually, is he? Probably.
No.
Probably find he's en route after watching for a bit on his phone.
Right, and it's just carried on.
And he still hasn't realised he's connected, maybe.
So yeah, so the head of English organised the baby shower. 11 of the other school teachers were there. The 2 bar staff were tested positive for COVID. The guy who owned the bar reported it to the public health, and public health phoned Gail's headmaster, and they said any of the teachers who were at that baby shower have to self-isolate for 2 weeks now. So Gail started back on Monday. Now she's self-isolating for another 2 weeks. Bonkers. The world's mad. It's just mad.
It is, and we've actually this morning had one of the mums who takes the children in turn with me to school or to the station, and they all just started secondary school, the new thing, and she's just said, you know, I've got a temperature, so we've all almost. It's really hard though. We sort of ganged up on her, but we haven't. Just said,
you know, shut up, get back to school.
Oh, hello, Bizrat. Have you come out of a breakout room? Do you want to unmute yourself, or can I put you into a breakout room? You may have just joined us. Do you need my assistance? Can you hear me, Bizrat? I'll try and assign you to a room anyway and see if you go. If anyone's having difficulties and would like to unmute and talk to me so I can help you get into a breakout room, I'm very happy to. Hello, Victoria. If you've come out of a breakout room, would you like to unmute and or I can help assist you into a breakout room? Can you hear me? Shall I assign you to a breakout room? For those of you who've just come back into the main area, if you'd like my assistance getting back into your breakout rooms, you could unmute yourselves and I can certainly help move you. If not, there will be a button at the bottom of your screen for breakout rooms, and you'll be able to click that button and go to the join button. And you should go back to the breakout room that you were originally assigned to. If anyone's just joined us back in the main room, if you'd like to come off mute, I can assist you back into the breakout rooms, or there is a button on the toolbar at the bottom of your screen which you can hit that says breakout rooms, and then you should be able to see join your assigned breakout room. For those of you that have just returned to the main room, if you need help getting back to your breakout rooms, please let me know, come off mute or go to the button on the bottom toolbar that says breakout rooms, and you should be able to hit the join button to get back to your assigned breakout room. If you're happy to stay in the main room, we've got about 3 minutes left of the breakout sessions.
They should be coming back shortly, I suspect.
Yeah, any minute now. 11 seconds. Breakout rooms are closing now. You should find yourself navigating back to the main room. Welcome back to those who've just joined us.
Welcome back to everyone. I think maybe we still have another group that's in virtual breakout rooms. We'll give people a few more seconds to come back, and then we'll do a quick wrap up and next steps. I saw a lot of people coming back in with their video on, which meant the group work must have been very engaging, which is nice to see. Roz, do we still have any breakout? Okay, I think, yeah.
Breakout rooms are now closed.
Okay, great. Thanks so much. So thanks again to everyone for participating in the group work. I know that Sophie and I's group was really, really engaged and exciting. So I'm hoping others had fruitful group work as well. I think we'll just take a quick run through of maybe 1 or 2 key things that each group leader wants to present back and just share with the group before I hand over to Yael to wrap us up this morning. So if I can maybe, Sophie, start with you, if that's okay, and just give a quick feedback from our group.
Yeah, I just wanted to highlight a few key points. We talked a lot about the use of online platforms and webinars and this kind of new format that we've learned to use more in the existing situation. There's been some suggestion as well on doing, for example, some sessions like brown bag session, if that would be useful to participants to provide a platform for exchanging experiences. We talked about the issue of research article and the fact that, you know, in many cases, they're not open access, and the fact that, you know, sometimes they're written in some languages that is not necessarily always accessible to everyone, and could be simplified and synthesized to be more accessible to a wider range of audience. We talked about social media and the importance of as a way of communicating new findings and research. And also as a way of sensitizing donors on the efforts and research that's being done, or case studies that have been documented. Maybe Lee, you want to add something to that?
Yeah, no, I think the idea of just bringing people together maybe informally every other month and not making it a big deal, but just having a conversation. And if people want to share experiences and have conversations, you know, there's no harm in setting something up, and we see if people join and we see if there's some interest, and just kind of, so perhaps as part of the WASH working group, we could send out some bi-monthly invites and see if we want to have a sharing platform and take it from there. So that's something I thought was really useful that you highlighted. So thanks, Sophie. So I think then I'll go on to Helen for a quick update.
Thanks very much, Leah. So thank you very much to Group 1 for all their input. Some key points that really came out was, first of all, around sort of capturing the experience that many people have had around COVID, sort of pivoting, particularly on programs that were not necessarily so strongly WASH focused, and there's been such a rapid response. So really understanding how can we not only capture what was learned, but how can we do it in a way that reflects the sort of the current need to be very, very nimble and agile, but then also look at how do we transition it through to sort of continue that data capture. There were some great examples from Jackie and Vanatu again around sort of WASH policy on hand washing, and really sort of looking at how we translate sort of best practice to move from hand washing to hand washing plus, and a far more comprehensive approach to hygiene and joining up across sort of sustainability, infrastructure and messaging. We had some really good questions come through as well. So the first one was around sort of can we as the NNN look at how we can share funding to support some of these opportunities, and maybe some guidance about what that could look like, be directly or embedding it. And then also around sharing best practice specifically on MDAs and WASH, and how to link them. So they were 2 call outs. And then finally, we had some good examples from Uganda around how to support sort of strengthening health system strengthening within NTD programming, and really the challenges that were sort of faced in accessing evidence. But they had a really sort of comprehensive approach in Uganda, from looking at WHO document review and data and having a really sort of in-depth review using some of the national data as well. So there was a nice sort of variety of experience coming through, and a couple of questions and ideas of where we can maybe start to share information on some of these areas.
Amazing, you guys got to a lot in 20 minutes, so well done, Group 1, and apologies for starting out of order. So I will go to Group 3 then and try and get back in my numbers and hand over to Sarah.
Thanks, Leah. Yeah, thanks. We had quite a similar discussion, it sounds, to you, Leah, and Sophie in your group. But one of the key things that was coming through was, yeah, the value of kind of formal conferences and so on to share what's going on, but those informal discussions and the opportunity to have those regular, brown bag type discussions where people can drop in and, share what they're doing, or present a challenge that they're experiencing, and get support from others. That came through strongly as perhaps a key idea that we might want to look at. And we had a discussion too about some of the key barriers that programs experience in both generating evidence and sharing that evidence with others and their experiences with others, including being time poor, including kind of just that long wait that comes with research of particular types in getting the conclusions and then being able to share those. And we ended our discussion trying to unpack perhaps what the NNN might do to support, and perhaps setting up some of those informal discussions would be one thing, but then there's also real value in making them local so that they can be undertaken in local language and really enable that rich local discussion. And so perhaps there's a role for the NNN to link people who are setting up these sorts of things to support one another, or provide guidance on how to go about doing that, or just support for those that perhaps are going to show a little leadership regionally or locally, so that people don't feel quite so alone in kind of trying to set up these local knowledge exchange opportunities.
Yeah, that's a great point, Sarah, and I'm going to abuse my privilege as chair, because you reminded me that our group also had a comment of setting up kind of country or regional NNN chapters, perhaps. And I thought that was a really interesting idea, and I'm hoping my connection is saying it's unstable. But I thought, maybe as a way to engage people at the country level and have groups come together under the NNN name was really an interesting thought. So thank you to Joseph for that point from our group. And I know we've been given permission from NYT to stay a few minutes later, so I appreciate if people have to jump off, but if we could head to Yael for feedback from her group and then a quick wrap up. And thank you again to everyone for participating if anyone does have to jump.
Thanks, Leah. I won't repeat what other groups have said. There was quite a bit of overlap, but there was some great ideas around making sure that we're using existing tools for information gathering to also include information on WASH. So we are already doing coverage surveys and other types of data collection exercises. So there's a lot that can be said for embedding questions on WASH in those, and also making the data collection as simple as possible so that it can allow quicker analysis as well. So having very straightforward yes, no, or numerical questions within surveys will make it a lot easier to document. We also talked about the need to coordinate across different partners at country level, not just to validate data, but also to make sure we're not duplicating efforts. So this whole issue of WASH and NTDs coordination at a country level comes up again and again. We touched on the need to incentivize learning, and we mentioned DFID, now FCDO, and other funders who actually require documentation within the project contracts, which is also really crucial. It's important to make sure that we fund documentation so that it doesn't become the last thing that people do if they've got a bit of time left. And then finally, in terms of sharing information, we talked a little bit about using the NTD platforms a little bit more, also to kind of share information, not just from completed and fully documented projects, but also work in progress. And Info NTDs was mentioned, as was the Susanna forum, which is more of a WASH sector platform, and maybe trying to make use of social media a bit more. And then finally, more of the kind of webinars that we've seen throughout the lockdown period to kind of share country experience in a more routine way. So that was it, I think, from our group. And that leaves it to me just to thank all of you for joining the session today. It's so great to have so many people in this room. It's a shame we can't see you in person. I would like to just make sure that you're aware that the WASH working group will take all of the conclusions that we've heard from this session forward today, and also share them with the other relevant cross-cutting groups. I know that Sarity is here for the knowledge management group and has also been taking a lot of notes. Please do engage with the research agenda exercise. We really want to hear from you. And I really hope that in a year's time, we'll all be in the same room together in Kathmandu in Nepal, enjoying a very nice momo and having a fruitful discussion. So thank you everyone for joining today, and have a great day.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Liberia.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you all.
Thank you, everyone.